Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's your coach here. Coach's Call on Tap. This is our weekly Chalk Talk where we will go over some highlights, some breaking news, trends, some highs and lows, things that we've seen from all different sports that we bet on, from football to basketball, tennis, soccer, everything in between. I've got Tristan, North Carolina, Puff, and Kyle in Pennsylvania joining us, and we're fixing to just kick it off and see where we're at, see what we think. And I guess maybe the first thing we should talk about is the Michigan scandal. Now it's gotten to the point where I didn't give a shit about the sign stealing. I never did. Everybody does it. But now it's the way they did it. And then supposedly they were sharing this information with other teams to beat teams that they were going to play so they wouldn't have to play them in the play. It goes really, really deep. And so I'm asking you guys, number one, do you think it's okay? Number two, should Michigan get a seat in the playoffs? Because you know they're good enough to win. Of course, now that they're going to win, obviously. But what do you guys think? Do they deserve a seat in the college football playoffs for all this if found guilty?
Puff.
Yeah, I'll start it. It's one of those situations where it's innocent until proven guilty, in my opinion. I do not think they deserve a ban unless it comes out that it's true that they were sharing it with other teams. Sign stealing, that happens with everybody. Everybody does that at college sports. It's just a matter of getting caught. And when you get caught, I don't think there should be a penalty because that's just the game. That's just how they do it. If you don't want your sign sealed, memorize the plays and fucking do it old school with the band and go in and call it. But I don't think that they should get a ban. But if you're sharing that information with other teams, I feel like that should be a bannable offense.
I got you. Kyle, what do you think about that?
Yeah, no, just right off of what Puff said, I think it's innocent until proven guilty. I don't think they should get a ban for something that they're not found guilty for. If they were sharing signs with other teams and it comes out like that, then yes, they deserve to be banned. There's no question about it. It's against the rules, and unfortunately, yes, sign stealing happens all the time. But if you get caught, you get caught. So I think Michigan probably should be banned from the playoff if they are found guilty. But right now, that's what it seems like it's leading to right now, obviously. But there was something that came out yesterday that also said that there was another team that was stealing signs from Michigan. They didn't say that team yet, but it was like flipping the script, kind of what Michigan seemed to be trying to do.
Gotcha. Tristan?
So here's my question, because I actually haven't done a lot of reading about this, because I was doing a little bit here. It said that Michigan really hasn't said a whole lot, and it's a lot of silence, and it's really only adding to the speculation. So when we say banned, does that mean they just can't compete in the Final Four? Does that mean like that they can't play football at all for the next couple years? What's the point of Michigan even playing games if they can't compete for a title? So, I don't understand that.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of different things, and it takes me back all the way back to the 80s with SMU when they got that supposed lifetime ban. I'm sorry, not band. Nobody's playing instruments, but there's different ways that you can get punished for this. For Michigan, they could just say, hey, you finish out your season, but you don't qualify for the playoffs. And then next year you don't qualify for a bowl game. You don't qualify for a conference championship, but they still play their games. They just don't qualify. And what that does, or they might take away scholarships from them. Instead of 85 scholarships, they might, take them down to 30 scholarships. Whatever the case may be, it's going to end up hurting them in the long run. For now, yeah, you might not be in the playoffs. You might not make it. But dude, this kid that did this, I don't know if y'all have been reading, this kid's a real psycho. Like, this guy's really, he had a 600-page manuscript, not 600 words, 600-page manuscript on how he was going to take over the Michigan program. He was wanting to be the next head football coach at Michigan. This guy was sitting up at night. We sit up at night wanting to hit an over or wanting to hit a spread. This son bitch is trying to take over an entire program. Like this guy's freaking out there, man. They got pictures of him in the other team's coaching gear on the sideline, watching signs and stuff like that. I mean, this guy's real psycho. And my question is this, and it always comes back to the same thing because shit always rolls downhill. If you're the head coach of a program, you should know what's going on. I mean, it happened to Paterno at Penn State. You know, I didn't know. Yeah, you did. You knew exactly what's going on. I mean, these are your guys. There's no way you don't know. So I'm thinking it's real quiet for the lone fact that the longer it takes, get us into the playoffs, let's win. And then later on, if you want to do what you did to USC, you can take the trophy away, but let me win it at least. Does that make sense? I mean, that's just that's the way I'm looking at this thing. But yeah, innocent until proven guilty. I love it. You know, we are in America, but gosh almighty, dude, how do you
Here's my, was Michigan paying this dude? Or we don't know yet?
He's a GA, dude. He was a graduate assistant or part-time assistant or something. I mean, he's on the squad. I mean, you see him on the sidelines all the time. They're showing pictures now where him and 3 other guys are looking across the field, and as soon as the sign goes up, they're screaming out, you know, what the play is going to be. And then Michigan sacks them for a 10-yard loss. I mean, it's crazy the way it's happening, dude. I think it's crazy. It's really crazy. So, I mean, you know, I hate to see shit happen, but you know what? If you're going to jump in there with the pigs, you're going to get muddy, boy. I mean, that's just,
you know where he's going to be coaching soon, right?
Texas A&M, baby. Texas A&M, baby. Come on. Hey, dude, we raise pigs. That's all right. Agricultural mechanics. Let's go, baby. I'll take him right now.
It seems to me like that's kind of the road we're going down. Is Michigan's just done. Like they're just we're not there yet, but it just seems like, I mean, it's just a lot of talk, and it's going to end up coming down to they're not going to make the playoff.
Yeah.
Are they going to do this to Harbaugh, or are they going to do it to the program though?
No, it's going to be
the program.
Yeah, that's the program thing. Harbaugh will be gone.
Yeah,
he'll be gone. He's toast.
He'll
go work for his brother.
He'll get fired, and he'll end up being an NFL head coach next year.
Yeah, he'll go work for his brother. He'll go work for his brother, and Michigan will just go. They'll go downhill from there.
Harbaugh. Here's the question about Harbaugh. You think the NCAA will ban him completely out of like he's just not allowed to coach in the NCAA again?
I don't think so.
No,
yeah, I don't.
No,
I think that's a little too harsh.
Yeah, because we still got Hugh Freeze over there at Auburn, and we got Patino over here.
If they did not ban Chris Beard from college basketball, fucking Harbaugh deserves to be coaching.
Yeah, they're not going to do something like that. But, you know, it's going to be one of those things. The next school that hires Harbaugh, they're going to be under the microscope as to why. You already see what he's done here. But we're saying that, and they haven't even proven anything. So let's be democratic about this and say he is innocent until proven guilty. But that motherfucker's guilty as shit, boys. Come on. Let's not play. Anyway, moving on. I don't know who's going to be in the playoffs. I mean, is it going to be a 1-loss team, a 2-loss team? Who's it going to be? The only one I see that really has a clear shot at the playoffs, and I might be jinxing it, is Florida State. I mean, I don't know who's going to beat Florida State, if anybody even can beat Florida State over there in that conference. But I look at Georgia and Bama. Dude, Bama looked really good against a pretty good LSU team. Alabama looks like they're catching their stride. You know, I don't know that Georgia. Who knows what Georgia what's gonna happen with Georgia and Bama. LSU's LSU. I mean, you still got Ole Miss, but I mean, what do you guys think about this SEC conference? We used to be the best conference in the world. Now we don't know what to make of it. Kyle, what do you think about the SEC?
I mean, the SEC, it's the premier football league. You know, it's when you're in high school, you're playing high school football, you want a scholarship from an SEC school, even if that's like Vanderbilt. Like I feel like that is the main goal, is you want to make it to the SEC because the SEC is where the best of the best play, and you want to play against the best of the best to improve yourself to make it to the next level to play in the NFL. So I think the beginning of the season, I think it was a big overreaction about the SEC about it's just not good anymore. Oh, it's downhill. I think it takes time. I mean, and you see this with Alabama, you see this with Georgia. They're improving as the season's going on. Jalen Milroe he doesn't look fantastic. He doesn't look like Heisman candidate. Don't get me wrong, but Jalen Milroe, he's improving each week, and you see that on the field with Alabama. I mean, they just beat a pretty darn good LSU team. I don't know who's really going to stop them at this point from going to the SEC title game and facing Georgia.
Yeah, I completely agree. Puff, I know you're a big SEC hater. What do you think about these two teams?
Not SEC hater. It's just I think it's gonna be Georgia and Bama in the championship, unless Lane Kiffin somehow can pull this game out this weekend with Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss has the team to beat Georgia, to be honest, but it's just hard for me to see it. I think Bama is gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle to finish out the season. So I think Georgia got the clear route to win the SEC if they get through this weekend.
What do you think, Tristan?
So I think Bama might be finally getting their ducks in a row. I think it's definitely going to come down to Georgia and Bama in the championship, and whoever wins that game, I think goes to the playoff. I think so. Here's, in my opinion, if Georgia loses to Bama in that championship game, Georgia shouldn't be in the playoffs simply based off of their
strength of schedule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I really
100% agree.
I don't think they deserve to be there if they lose to Bama. If they beat Bama, of course they're going. But I don't think it shouldn't be like last year when Michigan and Ohio State played. They both ended up making it. It's not the same thing.
Right. Puff, you raise your hand?
Yeah, I did. But what about if Ole Miss somehow beats Georgia this weekend? That's my question. Then what happens? Like,
well, if that happens, and then
it's chaos.
Then it's a completely different conversation.
Does Ole Miss get a shot? Like, if they win out the rest of the season, do they deserve a chance?
Well, that's just the thing. I mean,
yeah.
Go ahead, Kyle.
I don't think they control their own destiny. I don't believe they control their own destiny. I think they need help from other teams. I think they need chaos from other teams.
Yeah.
Yes, they need to beat Georgia this week, but they also need to win out, and they probably need Oregon to lose another game, or they probably need Washington to maybe lose 2 games and Oregon beat Washington in the Pac-12 title. Like, Ole Miss, I think, is the one team that's still in the conversation right now that is 1 through 9 that I don't think they control their own destiny. They need their own help.
Yeah, I think so too. I think just because of the name, I think a 1-loss Texas team makes it above a 1-loss Ole Miss team just because of the name. You know what I mean? And now you've got a different conference. But yeah, it's going to be a mess if something like this happens, Puff. You're exactly right. It's going to be a mess. And I mean, great segue. The Big 12 even do they even put anybody in? I mean, I don't think you're right, Tristan. I think you're right. It's either going to be Georgia or Bama going in. I don't think both of them go in. And if Bama beats Georgia, I think Bama's the one that's going in. But then, does Oregon and Washington, do they both go in? Does the Big 12, are they taking anybody in there?
You know what I think? Because you brought it up, Oregon and Washington. I think Oregon and Washington meet in the Pac-12 championship again, of course. I think Oregon beats Washington and Oregon makes the playoff. I really do.
Both make the playoff.
I think there's a chance both make the playoff, but I think it's all pure chaos also happening as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're going to see 2 Pac-12 teams in the playoff if everything else plays out as well. But let's be honest, when we all watched the Oregon-Washington game, did that game not look like a national championship game?
Oh, fuck yeah,
completely.
Yeah.
That looked like a national championship game.
Yeah, it had the hype. It had everything.
Mm-hmm. I love Oregon, man. I think if they make the playoff, watch out. I love that Oregon team. I think Bo Nix, like Coach said a few of our podcasts ago, people are still looking at Bo Nix in an Auburn uniform. That's not the same Bo Nix out there.
That's a grown-ass man doing grown-ass man things over there, boy.
Hell yeah.
I mean, he's a real thing. And in saying that, dude, we go to the Big 12. and it looks like they're shambles.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, dude, I thought Malik was better than what he was at Texas, bro. You're right, Puff. I'm sorry. I'm gonna raise my hand. I apologize. You're right. Malik is not good. Now, is he going to be good at Arkansas or Mississippi State next year? I'm pretty sure he is, because that's where he's going to go. We know that, because I mean, Manning's the next guy.
Who knows? Maybe they'll go to Ole Miss and be their fourth string like Spencer Sanders. And...
Maybe so, but I mean, are you really going to? I mean, Oklahoma, you're done. I mean, Oklahoma's done.
They suck, man.
I mean, they're done.
Trash, boy.
Texas still has a chance, but Texas still has to play Texas Tech. Texas has a hard time playing Texas
When we
Tech.
play them, where's that? Do we play them in?
I believe it's the very
we're
last
at home. We're at home.
Yeah, you're at home.
Oh my God, I was scared. I was gonna say we're playing at Texas Tech. We can't win. We can't win down there, out there, wherever it is.
Lubbock.
I mean,
Lubbock.
Who do you? I mean, who right now would, other than Texas, who the hell do you want to see in a playoff?
I'm not gonna
from
lie.
the Big 12.
I'm not gonna lie. It's not gonna happen. But that Oklahoma State team that I watched this past weekend, they looked good, man. Like their running back and their offense is amazing, but they have no defense. Big 12.
The best Bedlam game to ever play. I think they shot their wad there, bud. I mean, at the beginning of the season, I was high on Oklahoma State, but they just didn't come out of the chute. I don't know, man. That Big 12 is a toss-up.
I think Texas controls their destiny. They went out. They deserve to go to the playoff with that fluke loss to Oklahoma. They deserve to go to the playoff.
Fluke loss. Or y'all want to argue this point, or
yes?
Should we just let that go?
No, play it out.
How is that a fluke loss? How is it a fluke loss?
Let's see here. We're up by, what is it? We're up by like.
Oh, 4. You're also the guy in 09 when Colt McCoy got hurt against Alabama. Y'all would have won the whole thing if he hadn't got hurt.
Yeah.
It's a conspiracy theory. I got you. All right. When next time you can take a trip to the ice wall, invite me. I want to go there too and see all the aliens. At it there, Puff. But no, I'm rooting for your Texas team. Big Ten.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, I'm not. I never will root for Texas. The Big Ten. If Michigan does get dropped,
yeah.
I mean, does Ohio State go? I mean,
if they this is the chaos that we like here. Because look, here's my thing. Sorry, Tristan.
No, go ahead, Puff. Go ahead. Puff.
Okay, here's my thing. Penn State beats Michigan this weekend. Michigan goes and beats Ohio State at the end of the season. We're at a 3-way tie here for everything going on.
What'd you say?
I said Penn State beats Michigan this weekend, right? And then Michigan goes to Ohio State and beats Ohio State. We got a little triangle of death going on here.
There's no doubt Michigan beats Ohio State. I'm with you.
Ohio State, I'm trying to pull up their schedule now.
I'm with you.
I'm telling you, that atmosphere.
You know what I think? You know what I think might happen? Like real talk.
What?
I think Michigan gets banned. Turn around. Michigan's gonna beat Ohio State later this year, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna. Kyle McCord is trash. He is not. Him and Drew Allar are brothers, and I don't see Kyle McCord. He's just not good. I think Michigan gets banned. They beat Ohio State. Ohio State's out of there. Ohio State doesn't even make the playoff.
And that gives SEC 2 teams, right? Or the Pac-12 2 teams.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that
right?
Remember this podcast. Tristan doesn't know college ball, but that's what's about to happen.
I mean, and I'm rooting for you, Puff. I hope Penn State stays within 21. I mean, I'm with you.
I think what hurts Penn State definitely is the fact that if Michigan does get banned, Ohio State still has the head-to-head win over Penn State. And I think that's what's really going to hurt Penn State in the long run.
Yeah, but if Penn State beats Michigan and Michigan goes and just throttles Ohio State, which I think is going to happen, I don't think it's going to be a close game either, guys.
No,
that's just me.
No, blowout.
I think it's going to be a blow. If that happens, Kyle, dude, y'all got a shot. I mean, regardless of the head-to-head, those points are going to matter. And if it's one thing about your coach there at Penn State is he understands math, and so does Harbaugh. He knows those guys go out there to try to cover every week. So that's going to be interesting. And then, of course, the ACC, I think Florida's got just a clear shot at it. Y'all guys, tell me why, if y'all got anything. Tristan?
Nah, I mean, I still think they'll probably end up playing North Carolina in the championship, but Florida State will win. I don't think Florida State's going to lose a game until the playoff if they lose.
Yeah. What do you think, Kyle?
Yeah, I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. Florida State, they're going to run the table in the ACC. I mean, it's their conference to lose. Yes, they can play inconsistent sometimes, but they still find ways to win the games.
Puff?
Who will they end up playing in the
We don't know right now. It could be a play. We could be North Carolina. It could be Louisville. It could be
here's my
Virginia
thing.
Tech. Like, it's still like up for grabs.
If they play North Carolina, they better watch out because that team can score. I know I give Tristan shit all the time about it, how Drake May this, Drake May that, but I will give it to them. They'll be able to score with Florida State, and I think that'll be a very good game. And I wouldn't be surprised if UNC won that.
Dude, Florida State's got 2 big games these last 3 weeks.
They
They
do.
got
It's Florida, bro.
Miami this week, and then they play Florida in the swamp. I mean, they better come to play. That's all I know. Don't slip up.
Yeah, don't slip up, but and
Graham
Florida
Mertz.
might. Yeah, it's just not. It just doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Either way, I don't think Florida State gets past the semis, whoever they play. NFL.
Ooh,
NFL. Guys, what's going on over there?
gear shift.
Like, I mean, are we seriously thinking like is it a script? Are we reading a script? Is it fat Puff? I mean, I know you've been pissed off for the last 3 weeks. You hate this NFL. I've been saying it all along. The only thing I bet are the unders, the primetime unders. Just don't worry about it. They've been hitting. What are they now? Let's see, we're this weekend, Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. 12-1 the last 5 weeks, 30-7 year to date on the primetime unders.
I'll tell you, I'm kicking myself in the ass because I can't remember exactly which week. I want to say it was like 6 or 7. The Bengals had a bye week. I was looking at some futures to place, and I looked at Cincinnati because they were getting healthy. They were starting to. I figured they would. Burrow was finally starting to look like Burrow again, and they were plus 2,500 to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
They are now plus 1,100, and I'm kicking myself in the ass for not just throwing something on that. If still, I think plus 1,100 is good value.
Well, Dave Portnoy thought so because he put 67,000 to win $1 million
There you
on
go.
Cincy.
It's a fucking great bet.
I think it's a great bet.
That's a great bet.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't. I love Cincy. I love Cincy now. I even brought my jersey back. I'm gonna start wearing it on Sundays.
Me and Coach were talking. Me and Coach were talking pre-show, and I told him I think the Super Bowl winner has a really good shot at coming out of the AFC North, whether it be Baltimore or Cincy. I actually had a nice look at Baltimore pre-year. They really came out and they started the year a little flat, but then like a couple weeks ago when they busted the Lions' ass, that was the team I was expecting to see all year. But they've only kept that momentum since that win, and I really like Baltimore, man. I think they got a shot at a run.
What do you think, Kyle?
As a Baltimore Ravens fan, it is very, very, very hard for me to have any hope in this team once they get to the playoffs from the past couple of years. They do nothing but break your heart over, over, and over and over again. I mean, literally a 99-yard fumble return for a touchdown is why they weren't winning the playoff game last year. It is just so hard to even it's just so hard. And to like be a Ravens fan and just want to support this team because I feel like
don't talk to me right now. Like, come on.
You got a Panthers fan.
Yeah, like
You're right.
cry me a fucking river. All right.
You're right. You're right. Fair enough. But it's just like I feel like at the trade deadline, they got offered Josh Jacobs and they turned him down. Like,
Did they really?
yes.
I didn't know
The
that.
the Raiders wanted to trade Josh Jacobs to the Baltimore Ravens for a second round pick, and the Ravens said no. Like it's just
that's
hard.
wild. That is
Exactly.
wild. That's wild.
It's just hard for me to believe in this team. I feel like they don't want to win because you get a chance at a maybe a top 5 running back in the NFL, and you're gonna say no
For
like,
a second round pick.
that's a piece that can win them.
You'll never get. So the one thing that the NFL has always done is overvalue draft picks outside of the first round. A first round draft pick can come in and make a difference right away. But anything outside of that, I mean, a second round can too sometimes, but you're not going to make a second round pick that's Josh Jacobs. You're just not.
Exactly. So for me, it's hard to believe in the team to make a playoff run. The way they're playing now, like, I mean, yes, they obviously have a great chance, but we've seen this before. We saw Lamar Jackson's MVP season. 14-2, and then losing the first round of the Chargers. So it's just a team where I can't believe until I see it. I will not believe it until I see it.
Puff, you're itching over there. What
I see that.
I am itching. So we're going to this AFC North, aren't we? How are we forgetting about the best team in the NFL? The best defense in the NFL. Sorry, best defense in the NFL. The Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson's back. They were healthy. They looked good. Man, I'm telling you, don't sleep on the Browns. Defense wins championships. Am I right, Coach?
Yes, you are.
I will say.
Right.
I will say. There's something came out today. If the NFL playoffs started today, every single team from the AFC North would make it.
Yeah, and they better watch out if you play that Cleveland team.
Yeah,
the Browns and the Ravens play on Sunday this week. So the Ravens spanked the Browns the first time around. We'll see how it looks this week with Deshaun Watson and not PJ Walker at quarterback.
What's the line on that, Kyle? Do you have the line on that?
Let me check here real quick.
I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say 3. I'm gonna
Ravens -6.
Oh,
wow!
Give me the Browns in that.
The game is in Baltimore. The Ravens only have 3 more away games.
Nah, NFL's rigged, man.
Nah,
that's why you only time you okay. You'll make money.
I want to talk about the Bills. I want to talk about the Bills a little bit. I mean,
one of the worst quarterbacks in the league this year. Go ahead.
See, look, he knows how to get me started every fucking time, bro.
Well, no. Go ahead. I'll let Tristan go, and then you go right after. Okay, go ahead.
I can't quite put my finger on it with the Bills, but something's not right. Something's not right because I thought, looking at our preseason show, I really kind of thought that the Chiefs somewhat offensively took a step back. They still got the best quarterback in the league, best tight end, whatever. But I still think they took a step back because they don't have a true wide receiver 1 yet. And I thought this would be the year the Bills got over that Chiefs hump. The Bills can't even get past themselves right now. I don't know if it's locker room chemistry. I don't know. There was a lot of talk with Stephon Diggs in the offseason. I'm not entirely sure what it is in particularly, but something's not right in Buffalo. Is that fair to say?
What do you think, Puff?
Nah, it's fair to say, but this week's the week where they get back on track, though.
We keep saying that every week, though.
They play the Broncos, man.
The Bills are.
They can lose that game. They can lose that game. Where's it at? Is it in Denver?
It's in Buffalo.
I don't think it matters. They can lose that game. The Broncos got on a roll.
Kyle, you agree they're in disarray.
Yeah, the Bills are in disarray. I feel like Josh Allen's peaked. I don't feel like Josh Allen's going to get I think he's peaked. I think he's at his peak. I don't think he's going to get better. And the issue is his peak is still making dumb throws and throwing interception after interception in clutch situations. So I think that I don't see Josh Allen and the Bills. Like, is the Bills, their chance to win a championship is now. Like,
Yep.
Von Miller's not getting any younger.
Yep.
That defense ain't getting any younger to help them, but it's just,
You know-
I don't see it with the
They
Bills.
still win the
They just look
division.
lost.
No.
Well,
no,
I
they
saw
don't.
I don't
Josh.
know.
I saw
They
Josh Allen
can.
take his
Like,
helmet
they
off.
can.
Josh Allen took his helmet off this weekend, and I saw his face. And dude, I think a big problem is his eyes are too close together. He doesn't have good peripheral vision. I think to make a great quarterback, you need to have wide eyes. But I mean, I digress. I don't think the Bills are. I'm sorry, Puff, but
You wouldn't
Dude,
know
they're-
who Josh Allen reminds me of. Not like seriously.
Bobby Bush, know who?
Watching Cam Newton in Carolina for 10 years, they're the same player. When Cam was on, he was unstoppable. Josh is unstoppable when he's on that day. But when he's bad, he's really fucking bad.
Yeah, there's nobody worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really Cam was just like that. I mean,
Yeah.
if Cam was not hitting on it that day, it was a bad day. It was a really bad day.
Okay, we'll talk about if you're good, you're really good, bad, you're really bad. These Miami Dolphins, dude. I mean, they're either going to beat the shit out of you or they're just going to look horrible.
Yeah.
Like we said this before we started, and no disrespect to my guys in Pennsylvania, but Miami to me seems like the Penn State of the NFL, where they beat the shit out of everybody, but they didn't play anybody, and then they play these good teams. That's hold on to your horses here, boys, because this ain't right. I mean, am I wrong? Miami is Miami's what, they're 6-0 against losing record teams, and 0-3 against teams with winning records, something like that.
Yeah.
They can't beat a good squad. I mean, are they frauds? Do they have a shot at anything? Kyle?
I mean, I think it's quite obvious. The Miami Dolphins, they can't beat the good teams. I mean, they got eaten by the Eagles. I mean, they got annihilated by the Buffalo Bills. And then this past week, they lose to the Chiefs. They did show life in that game, like I will say. They didn't just roll over after going down 21-0. They showed life, but they still they got to 14 points. They couldn't get that. They couldn't get that next score when they had multiple opportunities to get that next score to tie the game. Until the Dolphins can prove me wrong, I think they're frauds. I think they're making the
I agree.
playoffs, obviously, but I mean, once they play that good team, I don't see them winning. I really don't.
You want to know who else is frauds, Kyle?
Who else?
The Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Dude.
They are. Geno Smith is horrible.
I
Geno
mean,
Smith is
they're terrible. We
These
can't like
guys, bro. Everybody, bro.
Geno Smith is awful.
I mean,
What's wrong,
bad.
Puff? What's
go
wrong?
ahead, go ahead, Puff. Say your
What's
piece.
wrong, Puff? All you're doing is
I ain't
shaking your
gonna
head at
lie.
us, and you're on your phone shaking your head at us. What's wrong, Puff? Talk to me.
I just thought so much of the Seahawks before this season, and now I'm just getting completely shit on for saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl, knowing damn well they have no shot of winning the Super Bowl this season anymore.
We're not shitting on. We're shitting on the team. This
Yeah,
team
they
is
suck.
horrible.
They suck. I'm not
The
even gonna lie.
The Seahawks have a good team with a bad quarterback. That is basically the definition of it.
Wow.
I think
There you go.
I don't think Geno's that bad, but
he is. He's
his
something.
stats last year he was like a top 5 quarterback.
That's
That
last
doesn't mean
year.
anything because me and
Yeah.
Tristan used to argue about who the top 5 quarterbacks are, and there wasn't a
somebody
top
say
5
Brock
because they're
Purdy?
horrible. Purdy was a top 5 quarterback, and now, as far as Tristan's concerned, he sucks.
Ah!
Quarterbacks in this league are not the same as it was 10, 20 years ago, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one team to watch out for in the NFC, and that is the Cowboys. I was telling Coach, what are you shaking your head for, Kyle?
It's all right. Go ahead.
As long as Dak Prescott is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, they have no chance in going anywhere.
So here's
It's as
the
simple as that. That is
Completely
the
agree.
only, like, I don't understand how they don't realize that's the problem. They have an amazing football team. And if they would just get another quarterback that isn't Dak Prescott, there would be Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super
So
Bowl.
here's
His last throw. Did you watch his last throw?
yeah.
You can't throw those throws that high. I'm not talking the one to CeeDee Lamb, but before that, there was like a fourth and some. I mean, it's just you can't throw. You got to throw these balls on the money. You can't say he had an amazing game, but he missed the one throw. Well, that's the one throw we're paying you $70 million for, Jack. That's the one throw you got to make.
So here's
Tristan.
here's the thing with the Cowboys, right? They have these stretches. So they have one of the best defenses in the league. And that's what's going to carry you through the playoffs. The Cowboys, if they hit one of those stretches where Dak, because Donnie, I used to make fun of him, but he's not really wrong. He's always got picks in his back pocket that he's ready to throw. But if they can get Dak to tuck that shit far away, I'm telling you, that team can make a run. That team can make a run. It all is. They're going to go as far as Dak takes them. Honestly, that's just what it is.
It falls on the defense. If they get down 2 touchdowns, if they get down 12, 13 points, then it's going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, you saw last year with the 49ers in the playoffs. So the Cowboys defense held the 49ers to 13 points and they still lost the game. Like the defense did all they could. If your defense is holding a team to 13 points, there's no reason you can't score more than 13 points.
Amen.
The last thing that I'll touch on is the Chiefs. We're going to see something a little different, I think, this year through the playoffs and the end of the year with the Chiefs. It's not going to be their offense while they go on a run this year. It's going to be their top 5 defense in the league. That defense is nasty. I mean, like a couple weeks ago when they played the Chargers have one of the worst defenses in the league, but damn, I mean, they can score some points. They didn't score no damn points on the Chiefs. I think 2 years ago, that Chargers team beats that Chiefs team in that game. So I think the Chiefs kind of have evolved a little bit because I mean they don't have the weapons. But yet Mahomes is still throwing over 300 yards a game, coach. I think, dude, the Chiefs are a little scary, I think.
It's that Taylor Swift effect, baby. What do you think, Puff?
Yeah, Chiefs are gonna win their division, but I just don't think that they have enough to win their conference. What's so funny?
What about you, Kyle? I don't know. Puff's going to sleep on me over here. What do you think, Kyle?
The Chiefs, I mean, as long as Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback, they have a chance of winning the Super Bowl. It's as simple as that. I mean, he proved that last year. Who didn't think the Eagles were going to win the Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs?
Me.
Okay, well, you might have been the only person.
You did? You thought the Eagles were going to win that game?
I easily thought the Eagles were going to win that game. I was at a Sixers game the night before, and they were already. We were talking about going. I'm not an Eagles fan. My family is an Eagles fan. We were talking about going to the parade.
Nah,
we thought that was in the bag. I didn't think the Chiefs stood a chance.
Wow.
I was so happy.
I had a futures on that from like week 7, and I bet them straight too. Yeah, that I had no doubt about that.
Hey, Tristan. Let me ask you guys real quick. Right now, who's going to the Super Bowl? Puff.
Go.
Kyle.
I mean, the NFC is the Eagles to lose. Although it is the city of brotherly choke, so give me the 49ers to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
No shot.
Yep.
Okay.
The 49ers to go to the Super Bowl.
Who are they playing?
Give me the Bengals right now.
There we go. I got the Bengals and the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Bengals, Eagles, Super Bowl. Tristan, what do you think?
I'm gonna stay true to my preseason pick for right this very minute. I had in our preseason show, I had the Chiefs playing the Cowboys. I'm gonna
You know what? I don't mind that. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I'm gonna stay
That'd
true
be
to
fun.
that. Yeah.
Go ahead, Puff.
I like that.
You say the Bills, I'm gonna mute you. Go.
Oh my god.
Go ahead. I'm kidding. Go.
I got Buffalo and Minnesota.
No.
Minnesota.
What?
Wow, I love
To be
it.
fair,
I love that. I love that pick, the Minnesota pick.
I do feel like Josh Dobbs could be like a Nick Foles type guy and lead the Vikings to the Super Bowl. Like it's not out of the question.
No, it's not
out of the
dude.
question.
I mean, the kid goes
definitely
in there. The kid goes in there, doesn't know anybody's name, doesn't take one snap with that center, doesn't throw one pass to any receiver. He shows up and wins a ball game. I mean,
That's
come
just what
on,
I
dude.
do, baby.
That's the shit that's like heroes are made of right there, dude. All
Puff,
right,
ju-
Puff, I
Puff,
like it.
Puff, just cash at me.
Hey, Tristan, can you do one of these emojis under Puff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude.
One of these, Puff. All right, Tristan. In the NBA news, what's going on over there? I don't follow a whole lot of that because that is way scripted, worse than the WWE.
Yeah,
Is there anything over there that interests you guys at all?
the Celtics, they continue to be on a tear. The Nuggets as well. Kyle, you said something about LeBron and
Yeah.
the Lakers. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, Kyle, what was that thing about the Lakers?
Yeah, so there was a pair there was I don't watch the NBA in the regular season. It's quite boring watching no defense getting played. But I saw something earlier that it was the Lakers front office sent videos and proof to the NBA league officials about how poor the officiating was, about how LeBron James wasn't getting enough foul calls, how he was getting hacked and hacked and hacked yesterday, but they weren't calling any fouls for him. That is really the thing that I saw.
Was it like should it have been foul calls or?
I mean, from the videos, yeah. I mean, he was getting hacked. It's
He's not flopping enough in my view. I mean, he's perfected the flop.
yeah, no,
Like,
he does. I mean, to be fair, some of the videos, like I think there's about 5 of them that they sent, and 2 of the 5 that I saw was just it could have gone either way, and if he maybe would have sold it more, he would have got it. But like the other 3 were blatantly. I mean, really, there was one where you could hear like as loud as it could possibly be right on the arm.
Yeah, if I was a referee, to be honest, if I was a referee in any Laker game, I would never call one. You could beat the shit out of that guy. I wouldn't care.
I think a couple teams that need to be watched out for. It's still very, very, very early in the NBA. Long season to go. The Thunder have been fun to watch. I think they could be a deep run playoff team, and also the Clippers after getting James Harden. That could be me and Chase on the Discord were actually talking not long ago. Watch out for the Clippers to possibly win the in-season tournament. That's if you want to place a small little futures bet, it's a nice little plus money play.
James Harden's first game with the Clippers last night, and they're 0-1. They did not defeat the New York Knicks, and they lost, I believe, by 16.
There you go.
I got a few teams to look out for NBA. First one is this Houston Rockets team. So they're one of them teams that who could I compare them to? Where they just constantly racked up like these first round draft picks, and they finally just get a chance to throw them all together and be good. I think that they're so young and talented where they score a lot of points. It's just a matter of them outscoring you. So they're a team that I'm on the lookout for. And then on the Eastern Conference, I'd say Orlando. Orlando's been playing pretty solid basketball. They got the guards, the size. Just I don't think they have the depth to make a run, but they're definitely gonna make the playoff this year. It's kind of cool.
How about the Grizzlies at 1-6? Jesus, you mean to tell me John Morant means that much to that team?
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. Same thing with Sacramento. Like these teams, like Sacramento was like number 1 last year, I think, right? In the Western.
One or
They're
two,
like
one or two.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they fell off. Shit. Charlotte's doing what I'd expect. Cleveland.
You don't throw that
rough.
shit in there.
But
he's got to throw some juice back at us for everything. Hey, guys, can we just move on to the nuts and bolts of this thing? I really want to hear you done a lot of work, a lot of research. How you know so much about transfer portal, NIL on 750 freaking college basketball teams. I have no idea. So fucking hats off to you nerds. I love it. You got some great info. So, I mean, I really just want to get into college basketball. I love college basketball. Number 1, love college basketball. I watched it. I've bet it. I love everything about it. But it's gotten so much because of the transfer portal that what you did last year really doesn't matter. I asked you guys before this, or I asked you guys before the podcast. I want to ask you right now, because of the transfer portal, because of the NIL and all that stuff. Last year, like my Aggies were number 4 against the spread in the nation. 21-10, almost a 68% clip. I mean, you could pretty much win money on my Aggies, but because of the transfer portal and everybody transferring and shit like that, I mean, does that even matter this year to you guys? Like what? Like the last year? I mean, is that trend going to continue, or what's going on? What do I look at now? Puff, go ahead.
So the thing is, the Aggies is the worst team to pick out of all those because they're the team that only kept most of their guys and didn't really hit the portal, and they're like the only team in college basketball that did that. So
that's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. And we can go to like Pitt was number 2 last year.
Oh,
Pitt was 21-9.
I'm not gonna lie, this Pitt team this year is going to be nasty.
The question is, can I look at last year's stats and start there and go, okay, these teams against the spread, let's go ahead and start. I'm gonna throw money on them early and see what happens, or should I just throw it out the window?
No, I don't think you should throw it out the window because with that, with it being like the second, third year of NIL, that means that these programs got good basketball culture going. It means that the coaches are bringing in these guys consistently to where the talent is they bring in these guys from lower level. With transfer portal, that's all it is. You're bringing in, like, for example, Watkins comes in from Sanford to Kansas State. Like, it's stuff like that people don't realize from these lower level teams that people don't watch a lot of. When they go to these schools, it gives them the opportunity to showcase their talent.
Gotcha.
So these teams that you're talking about, like Pitt, A&M, I'm sure like UAB's up there because they covered a lot last year. But it's these teams that build a basketball culture. They're able to cover like that consistently because they keep on bringing in new guys.
Yeah. And look, Kyle, let me ask you. Like, I mean, I'm looking at Cincinnati. Let's see. Where is? Okay, Cincinnati, FAU, James Madison, Connecticut. Those guys are all above 67% against the spread last year. I mean, do you guys go in and look at what they've done and look at what their conference has done to see if these percentages are going to stay the same or not? How do you go about capping this season right now?
It's a yes and it's no. It's a little bit of both. So from the yes perspective is you do go look in their conference and you do see, is there a team out there that has brought up, that has raised veterans from freshmen to seniors or freshmen to juniors? How many players did they keep? Did they lose their top players in the transfer portal? Did they bring in top players in the transfer portal? That is the perspective of that. But no, I don't look at their from a betting perspective. No, I feel like because of the transfer portal, you have to throw those stats out the window.
Okay.
I feel like you definitely have to throw those stats out the window because the Aggies went 21-10 last year against the spread, but this year they could go more kind of like maybe 16-15 against the spread. Like you really just don't know because of all the new players that are coming into the conference and maybe some of the teams that lost players as well. But Texas A&M, one of those teams that didn't lose players, but the SEC brought in a lot of great transfers. So there's some good teams in the SEC this year. Probably more better teams this year in the SEC than there was last year.
So who did Puff? So when you start, let me ask you this. So when you start to cap these teams in basketball, which is one of your favorite sports, this and women's basketball, where do you start? Like where do you? This is day of you looking at college basketball. How do you start this?
First I do a lot of research on the transfer portal, like who went where, see how they're playing. I know it sounds weird, but so a lot of these teams, they do overseas. They do a lot of overseas tours and play against these professional basketball teams in Europe. And for me, a lot of stuff, I go to John Rothstein's Twitter. He has a Twitter page, and he's like the college basketball guru. Like he's the one I find all of my information about who's playing, who's not, updates on basketball, and he's like on point with everything. So I mainly go. He's like one of my main resources, and the first thing I look at is the transfer portal is like my main source though. Like I see who got who and how they're playing with that team.
I
Like
got you.
like for example, last night I was watching that Penn State game, and Penn State looks like a whole new team compared to last year. Like defensively sound, basketball culture brought in all these transfers, and they look good. So that's why I
I
look
got,
for it.
hey, let me ask you. So there's 20 different conferences, and in college basketball, I really don't like to even watch the Power Five or bet on the Power Five because to me it seems like Vegas, that's their focal point, are these Power Five conferences because those are going to be your primetime games. I mean, I want to go over there and who's San Jose playing at 9:30 at night? You know, who's playing? You know, what's what do you what is your bread and butter as far as making money? I mean, the end result, that's what this is all about, is making money. So you go and you cap all of these games, all of these teams, all of these conferences. Where is your bread and butter? Or is it the Power Five? Is it the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big East? I mean, where do you go spend most of your time and most of your research?
I mean, it's more focused on the Power Five teams because those are the teams that you're going to see mostly in the NCAA tournament. You know, you're not going to mostly see like two Sun Belt teams make the NCAA tournament. 90% of the time, it's just going to be the champion. So the main focus is on the Power Five, and then you do Power Six.
Power
Sorry,
Six.
Big
Yeah.
East Power Six. Kind of forget about them because no football schools in the Big East, but except for UConn because UConn's in the American for football. But past that, it's mostly spent in the Power Five conference, and then I do a little bit outside of that, outside of that in like the other conferences. So
I got you. I got you. Tristan, you got anything for these guys?
I don't have a question, more of a statement. If you're new to betting college basketball, don't get overwhelmed on a Saturday because you're gonna wake up and there's gonna be 200 plus games on. You got to really do your research, really pick your spots. Don't bet every game. I've made that mistake before. Um, Also pay attention to mid majors in college basketball. Your mid majors can make you some money. Yeah, your mid majors can make you some money. Your schools that nobody talks about. Books don't pay that much attention to these smaller schools. And just do some research. Like don't sometimes like with these smaller games, like all it takes is a little research to find your play. It's really just that simple.
Okay, let me ask you guys this, and this is for both you, Puff, you and Kyle. You're doing a lot of work, and it's a lot of work. So again, tip of the hat. I mean, I love what you're doing. And you guys listening, these guys are going to be doing this once a week. They're going to break down these games and give you some pointers. So make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the little bell, hit the shit out of that like button for us, and comment too if you've got anything you want these guys to look up for you. But in capping these games, in betting these games, I'm a big trends better. I love trends. I love, the double digit home dog after a road loss. The prime, like NFL now, prime time unders, first half unders in the Pacific tournament or in Hawaii, when a team's never been there, just trends like, do you guys have any of those trends that you follow, that you have followed or that you keep up? Or do you just look at players, teams, home and away? Kyle, let's start with you.
with college basketball, trends are a little bit harder because I mean any day on any given day. Anybody can beat anybody in college basketball, and we've seen that happen in the past. So trends are a little bit difficult because, I mean, you could use this, for example, Marquette last year, heading into the NCAA tournament, they looked like one of the best teams in the country. They mowed their way through the Big East tournament. They won the Big East. Then they go to the NCAA tournament. They lose in the round of 32.
Yep.
So trends are really, really hard to follow in college basketball.
I got you. Puff, what do you think?
For me, I don't really follow. I mean, for me, it's not trends with totals; it's trends with teams for me. With college basketball. So, for example, I'll find a team that I don't see much potential out of, and a team that's horrible, like that Oklahoma State team that we were talking about last night. Like I'll just fade them until they cover. Or I'll find a team that I think is solid and is not going to get credit by the books for a little bit, and I'll just keep on betting them until that catch up. So for me, it's more of finding the teams and like the gems, like how LSU women's basketball was last year. That was a gem for me. I just took them to cover, and they won me a lot of money. It's all about finding those gems and finding those teams to fade. Like what was it 2 years ago? It was Radford and I forget who those two teams were, but there's two teams we were fading every day, and it was just free money. So it's
I
all
got
about
you.
finding the teams to fade.
It is so early in the season.
Yeah.
It's scary, especially when you're putting real money down. And I don't care if you're putting $5, $20, $50, $100. It is so early on our Discord. And if you're listening, by the way, you can go to coachescallontap.com. We've got a Discord link. You can hit that minutes for free and listen to all this stuff. But on the Discord, somebody said something about Kentucky. You know, they lost a lot of people. They got some good kids, but they're young. They don't know, and so they were fading Kentucky against New Mexico State. And they did look shaky at first, but then the second half, they looked like a Kentucky team should look. You know, go out and beat somebody by 25 points. I mean, it is so freaking early. How confident are y'all in your bets this week versus your confidence level here in 4 weeks?
I think I'm more confident now than later. If that makes sense. For me,
Really?
it's because I feel like the knowledge of these transfers and having that knowledge of these teams and kind of what to expect out of them carries a lot more than what the people are going to see when they watch it get all put together, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So watching these teams kind of start to gel together is kind of cool to me for when they do gel together, if that makes sense. So for me, it's more of like the process of watching everything happen before my eyes is like it's kind of cool.
Oh, gotcha. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm the opposite of Puff. As the season goes on more, that's the more confident I get and more confident I feel, because yes, we do have this research on the transfer portals and all these great players coming back, either not going to the NBA or just staying with their program. But there's also, as the season goes along, you learn of new names that you don't know about, the secret names that were in the transfer portal, not big names, but guys that get transferred and they turn out to be stars, or just guys that keep developing as they stay at their program. So I think for me, at least, it's as the season goes on.
I love it. Guys, I'm going to ask you guys one last thing here for our college basketball part. If there's one or two things that you could tell basketball better, maybe they've never bet before, or they have and they're young, or me, just, you know, you're going to give me some. What are one or two things, one or two pieces of advice you would give for anybody betting college basketball? Puff, let's start with you.
I'd say don't be scared to, like Tristan said, dial into 2 to 3 games that you like. Don't bet a lot of games because you can't profit doing that in the long run. You can't make money doing it. Yes, it's fun. If you're doing it for fun, go ahead. But if you're trying to make a little bit of money, you got to keep it down to like 3 to 5 games. And then another thing I'd say is don't be afraid of the mid majors, because that's where the money is all at. The books they put the lines out there, but they don't really mess with them too much. So don't be afraid of the mid major basketball. When you do your research, it actually adds up half the time. Whereas with other sports, you do research and it goes the opposite way. Mid-major, you can do your research, do the math, and then it normally adds up. So
Gotcha. That's good stuff. Kyle?
I would definitely say, I mean, start small. Definitely start small. Don't be throwing freaking big money on stuff that you don't understand and you don't know about quite yet. Definitely start small. And also, in my personal opinion, if you're first like starting and like you're just betting now, like I wouldn't bet live games in college basketball. I really wouldn't recommend that. I think that's something I think that's something that you should ease into when you're more comfortable and you more understand it.
I got you. Tristan, you got any more questions for these guys on this college basketball part?
Um, I would say no. I don't have questions for them, but I'm gonna give another piece of advice.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
If you have never watched college ball before, I've definitely watched it in years. I just the last 2 years I started betting on it. Watch some games. Don't just look at lines and just throw your money on something. Watch some games. Watch how these teams play, especially early on in the year. You want to throw a little money, that's fine. Go light. But watch these games. Watch how these teams unfold. Watch how they progress through the days. The beautiful thing about college basketball is there's games on almost every single fucking night.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get FOMO and feel like you're gonna miss out. They're always gonna be there till March. So just take it easy.
I like to look at how a visiting team plays. Every time I watch a game, I love to watch how the visiting team plays, especially if you're going, into Rupp Arena or into the new Texas's new place, or anywhere. How they handle it, how they handle themselves, because you can find one of these teams that they just got that dog in them. They just go in there and it ain't going to matter. You look at a 18, 20 point spread, and you're like, nah, these boys, they might not win, but they got that dog in them, boy. And they're going to cover for you. And sometimes these lines are just overinflated because of the name. It's Duke, or it's Kansas, or it's Georgetown, DePaul, whoever the hell it is. It's the name that gets you. I don't even know who's good anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say you showed your age there a little bit.
Yeah, I did, man, because I was still thinking who's the big dude that played at Georgetown.
Patrick Ewing?
Yeah, Patrick Ewing. Yeah, that was showing my age. You're right. But no, dude, I just think still the books. It's about the name, a name brand. You get some school in there. If you follow that and you just follow them enough, you can see how they play, and that can make you a lot of money. I love watching how teams play. But anyway, Tristan, you got any tennis or soccer news for us?
No soccer. Real quick though for tennis. Tennis starts the ATP finals. They start Sunday. It's the last big tennis event of the year, and then we're on a break until January for the Australian Open. If you join our Discord, we have a lot of guys on tennis, actually some good guys on tennis. Hobbs, I've noticed, is he seems pretty well versed in tennis. He's good at tennis. Me, Donnie, Chase, we Perry as well. SD Perry, he does well in tennis. Puff will dabble a little bit. So we have the ATP finals coming up. If I had to make a pick right now to win it all, if you can find a future for it, I would sprinkle Djokovic for back to back. I would sprinkle Sinner. I like Sinner. I think this could be a big tourney for Sinner. He plays well on hard court. He's tall. He's lanky. I think he might do very well in this. I think they're playing in Italy. It's also his home country. It's important to note. And then I also like a little sprinkle on Rublev. I don't think he wins it, but he's definitely worth a sprinkle. I would personally stay away from Carlos Alcaraz. I don't think Alcaraz makes it very far in this tournament. Alcaraz has some shit to figure out, I think, going into next year. I see him getting knocked out pretty early. He got knocked out pretty early in Paris this last week. He got knocked out in the first round, as a matter of fact. And then for the WTA finals, they just ended, and Iga Swiatek destroyed Pugula in the finals, and that'll be it for tennis for right now.
I got
All righty.
Oh,
got
Puff,
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yes,
Puff.
go
ahead.
go Puff.
I got one for the finals that I like for a good future, and
Okay.
that's Yannick. I love Yannick Sinner. Dude's form has been crazy lately.
Yeah,
I think
love it
that
too.
it's gonna be him and Djokovic in the final, to be honest. So I like that. If you could bet that outcome somehow, I feel like that'd be a very good bet.
Yeah, I love that. I also I left him out, and I really probably shouldn't have because he's probably one of the best hardcourt players in the world. Daniil Medvedev is also worth a sprinkle. So
There we go.
that'll be it for tennis.
All right. Hey, Puff said it himself. I'm going to start doing it. We're on Twitter also. John Ross, right? Puff. You follow him
John
on Twitter?
Rothstein. Yeah.
John Ross. All right. Thanks. Hey, all right. So on tab.com, you can go there. You can join our Discord through there. We are on Coaches Call TikTok, Coaches Call on Facebook, Coaches Call on Twitter. You can find us there. We're going to post a lot of plays. Make sure you go on there. These guys are going to keep doing what they're doing. Kyle, Puff, I appreciate everything you guys do. They do have their own podcast that they're going to be doing once a week. Kind of a breakdown of what's going on once a week or once every 2 weeks. I'm not sure. But they're going to get once a week. Okay, yeah. Good deal. And make sure you go follow us on TikTok. Because we will post there. Also, we're doing YouTube Shorts. We'll post there, so you can come join in. But make sure you click and follow and comment, especially if you have any comments for basketball. You want these guys to look up for you or answer for you. But let's see, Tristan, you got anything?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right, guys. Coaches Call on Tap. This is your weekly Chalk Talk, where we just go over a bunch of stuff. This is Chalk Talk, guys. Appreciate you being here. It's Cash. Adios.